Today, Guam Vice Speaker B.J. Cruz points his finger at Nancy Sutley for failing to uphold her duties as chairwoman of the White House Council on Environmental Quality by allowing U.S. Marines to use the sacred village of Pagat for target practice. At the same time, Cruz praises Guam Preservation Trust and their planned lawsuit aimed at protecting the culturally sensitive cliffside lands off the back road to Anderson. Sutley could soon face the very man who wrote the National Environmental Protection Act that created her job, environmental attorney Nick Yost, who has volunteered to represent the trust if they file suit. As for Sutley, so far, so complicit. As long as DOD does what it says it's going to do.
Federal agencies are required under TEQ regulations, if they make commitments to mitigate, that they follow through on those mitigation commitments. That's part of the regulations.
But in a statement sent from off-island today, Cruz rebuts. The decision to use Pagat as a firing range is in direct opposition to the intent of the U.S. Code's creation of the NEPA. Environmental stewardship extends beyond ensuring clean air and water and must take into account irreversible environmental and cultural damage to the island. Back in April, Sutley toured Guam with U.S. EPA officials, not long before EPA rejected DOD's draft environmental impact statement, because the military's initial build-up plan would have strained the island's utilities and resources to the breaking point. Last spring, Sutley seemed intent on balancing local needs with federal requirements.
We are committed to the principle of one Guam, where both civilian and military residents are served well. This visit is just one part of the work that the Obama administration is putting into assuring that the proposed buildup actions are done in an environmentally sound and sustainable way.
Now that DOD has considered public comments and rewritten its impact statement to stretch and spread the buildup with more sustainable population increases, more federal assistance, and has suspended its decision to dredge Apra Harbor. Sutley seems satisfied, but many locals remain dissatisfied. As DOD insists, it still needs more than the third of all lands it already controls on Guam, and that it will do everything in its power to acquire more Guam real estate for the buildup on a tiny Pacific island that has little land left for an indigenous population grown tired of giving.
I'm sorry we're not here long enough to answer all of your questions.
We do what you ask. We read the DEIS. We do what you ask. We're asking you to answer our questions.
Thus Cruz's praise for the Guam Preservation Trust's pending lawsuit against DOD, purportedly for failing to fully vet other viable alternatives to Pagat, and presumably for infringing on what NEPA's preamble calls the productive and enjoyable harmony between man and his environment, stimulating the health and welfare of man.